Brought to you by the Capital One Savor Card. With Savor, you earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining, entertainment, and at grocery stores. That's unlimited cash back on ordering takeout from home, or unlimited cash back on tickets to concerts and games. So grab a bite, grab a seat, and earn unlimited 3% cash back with the Savor Card. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Hey there, fictional friends, and welcome to another episode of Fully Booked. I'm Megan.
And I'm Shirin.
And hey, guess what? We're going to talk about YA craft this week.
Woo!
Shirin's favorite.
It's my favorite.
It is.
We're going to talk about the show about all the boys who are named Walter.
Ew, can you imagine if all their first names were Walter? Infinitely less
Walter.
good.
I told Dan that's what the show was about to get him to watch it for like 10 minutes. And he's like, that's not what this is about.
Liar. And you're like, hee.
I'm like, it's about 8 teenage boys and their first name is all Walter. And he's like, really? I'm like, yes.
I love that you just did that for no reason. Arthur straight up just watched most of this season with me so he could make fun of it.
This was a pretty terrible season, I have to say. It was I really loved this show the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, you're like a huge fan of this. You know what? Okay, I feel like we may as well just kind of like spoiler warning it from the top because we're sort of going to go over overarching things and like, you know, plot points. Yeah, spoilers, everybody.
Spoilers.
If you haven't seen it, I don't know why you're here, but I appreciate you anyway. So,
well, you might be listening to figure out if you need to watch it. And honestly, the answer is no.
Maybe not.
We can probably sum up the whole season in probably about 5 minutes here. So
correct. Yeah. So that's fine. That's what we're going to do. Anyway, we're going to be talking about season 3 specifically of the show. So just keep that in mind. If you haven't seen it or if you've not finished it or anything, you've been warned. Spoilers. So this is actually the first time that we're doing any of the seasons of the show for the pod.
It's not for lack of trying.
I know. I hadn't watched any of them like ahead of time before, like, or at the time that they came out. So it was bad timing. It was ages like after they'd come out and I was like, oh crap. Okay. I don't think we're going to do it now. But then we knew that this 3rd season was coming out and I was like, okay, I'm going to watch it within a short enough period of time. There's only so quick I can get through 10 episodes. That was too many episodes.
It was too many episodes. I even did a rewatch of the first 2 seasons in preparation for this. I was all excited. I was ready, man.
And then you were just doing it.
And then yes.
Okay. Why don't I just kind of indicate? So season 3 overall follows, I mean, mostly I would say kind of the relationship development between Jackie and Cole, because things have actually like happened between the two of them. Now we've had like the 2 seasons of like build up, and this is the season where we get to explore them actually having a relationship. That's the dynamic that's occurring with them. You have, I mean, there's obviously always a ton of like side plots and things like that. Everything else that's going on, obviously, with
Alex.
Everything going on with Alex and all of his like rodeo stuff that he got into last season, from what I remember, as well.
He kind of started in the 1st season, but like really was into it in the 2nd season. And this season you were seeing like how he was about to like really make it big, but unfortunately his rodeo posse were a bunch of clowns.
Yeah, oh, there she is. She's here all the time, guys. For your
Megan's like, I have to listen to her often. Please, somebody come and take her off my hands.
If I do, so do you. You're welcome, everyone. So those are like the major things that we have going on with those kind of main characters. And then obviously we do have a lot of the not build, but a lot of the fallout from George having a stroke at the end of the previous season, and him, you know, regaining some sort of sense of autonomy, and him and Catherine kind of, you know, also having to sort of work through that. And as usual, the older I get, the more interested I am in the adult storylines in shows like this, because they feel more serious. And I'm like, oh God, yeah,
this is real.
Yeah. And I'm like, God, this is massive. Like, this was terrifying.
And, I think because we've like been with these characters now, this is the third season, and like, we've seen how the two of them can basically overcome anything together. Like, first of all, they have like what, like 8 boys?
It's
8,
too many.
12, I don't know. They've got too many. Megan and I were trying to count all the boys when we were watching the season, and we can't remember most of their names, but we can remember like their little quirks. And we forgot the one with the video camera when we were doing all
Oh
that.
my God, yes,
Um,
you're right. That's true. Because
But anyway,
the only ones I can remember are the ones that have had pretty major storylines. So obviously Cole, Alex, Nathan, because not so much this season, but in the previous seasons, we'd
Yeah.
spent time with Nathan, obviously dealing with like his sexuality and everything about that.
and his epilepsy.
And his epilepsy and stuff like that. We'd
Which we
had,
saw a bit of this season.
Yeah.
There's the one with the video camera. There's the youngest one. There's the girl.
yeah, oh my God, poor her, the one girl. So there's, Jordan,
Is
who's
the
the
camera
third
guy.
youngest. Benny is the little baby one, like the youngest one. And Parker is the girl.
Right.
She's the only girl of the group. And then obviously we
There's-
have Isaac and Lee, who are technically their nephews. Who
Yeah,
they
we got to see a lot more about their storyline.
We did,
season.
which we haven't, to be fair, in previous seasons. So I guess it was good that they did that. They have the worst mother on the fucking planet, let me tell
Oh
you.
man, she sucks.
Yeah.
I really felt for them though, and like it's hard because I think we're trying to kind of be a little bit more open with showing that like even moms can be imperfect, and like because there's been a lot of TV storylines over the years about dads who abandon their kids and they come
Yes.
back and the kids like accept them and then they leave again and the kids still forgive them. And I think it's like this trope that we see a lot, and it's kind of like, oh, it's not his fault, he just can't really handle the responsibility. And that's essentially what they were showing with Isaac and
Lee,
their
yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was gonna call him
Hannah Walter. She's George's
Hannah.
sister. Yeah.
And so they were trying to like show that, and then Catherine like encouraged her to say goodbye to the boys so that it wasn't like such a an abandonment thing.
I liked Catherine's approach to the majority of the storyline, I will say, and I don't blame her for even at the beginning being very protective of things and being like, hey, I understand that she's your sister and you've just been through this life-altering situation and you want to be around her, to George, but she's like, I can't have her come in here and ruin everything for those kids again. Like, I can't watch that happen twice.
Not when she's been there for them, and she's like, it cannot have been easy for her to like, be their mother figure when they're like raging at the universe, about being abandoned by their mom, and so it was just an interesting thing to see on TV. And like as a mother myself, it's kind of like, yeah, I get that there's a lot of hard days, lady, like it ain't easy being a mom, but like I could never abandon my kid, never.
Yeah. And I mean, like, no one knows what
and
no
who
one knows
knows,
what
right?
state
I'm
they'll
not
find themselves in. That's
it.
No one knows what state they'll find themselves in. And so I do feel like it's good to at least approach it in the way that the show did, where it kind of gives her a little bit of grace at least, which is nice.
I agree. Like I was happy that they did it that way. And I think like any parent, it's hard to see somebody abandoning their kids on TV, but you're not in their shoes, so you don't really know, right? So
exactly, that's it. And then, sorry, we've forgotten another couple of kids because there are too many. Danny, who is Cole's twin, the acting one. That is my.
Can you imagine being Danny when your twin is Cole in high school?
Oh, it must be so annoying, honestly, to just be like, oh, thanks, I'll just be here normal and not annoying and not having like a bunch of issues off to the side and just be schluffed off to the side because everyone's paying attention to, especially in the first season there, like idiot Cole and all of his idiocy. Like he's calmed down a lot. And I want to talk about that a little bit because everybody's way too fucking hard on him this season that I was like,
I agree.
Hello. I
agree.
Bad shoddy writing, in my opinion. And of course, Will, the oldest son, who is married and doesn't live at home anymore. And we forget about him all the time because he doesn't live at the house.
That's right. And he really didn't have a very big role this season. He was almost written out, him and Haley.
Yeah, they wind up moving to another state for work. That's it part of the way through the season, which is fine. Whatever, maybe the actors maybe it was just a writing decision. Maybe the actors kind of decided to leave the show. It's entirely possible, right? Who knows?
Yeah. But I think that sums up all the Walter boys.
I think that's everybody. Yeah. Poor Parker and Jackie, obviously. But she's the main character, so it's easy to remember that she's there.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. So in this season, it's basically like the first two seasons where this will they, won't they between Cole and Jackie. And I was a little hesitant about this season already going into it because I'm like, okay, you kind of have to like go for the will they, won't they now. Like you got to make your decision. And if they
Sure.
are going to will they, this is where a lot of the time these plots kind of fall apart because let's be honest, nobody wants to have 2 seasons of a slow burn, will they, won't they, and then they finally get together and then they live happily ever after and we just watch them walk to class and back. Like kind of like Aaron and Danny.
They're adorable.
They're so cute.
I do agree with you, but I also am a little bit miffed that we did all of this and then, in my opinion, really clunkily had them break up during this
That
season.
was terrible. I'm just like, I really hate this whole like, oh, he's not good enough for her.
I really
So
wanted to
now
punch
he
Uncle
needs to
Richard in
like
the face.
break her heart and walk away. It's like, really?
Yeah, I really wanted to punch Uncle Richard in the face for most of this season. And it did, the writing of this really bothered me because Jackie is like the perfect child.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
And to see him lose his mind after she goes to one party and has like one grade that she's having an issue with, which again felt shoehorned in because I was like, Jackie's way too type A for this to be happening. Like the grade and her being distracted at track and stuff, I was like, this doesn't make any sense to me. I don't believe this would actually be happening. Whatever. Even if it were, I'm like, for crying out loud, she's 17 years old. Like, she's going to go to a party and have drinks and do these things from time to time. And again, it bothered me because I'm like, here is her boyfriend being like, okay, but you have that test to make up. Okay, but be careful with this. Like, don't do too much. Like, you know, I just want to make sure that you're okay and everything's fine. And then everybody's like, it's Cole's fault. And I'm like, what?
I know. And like everybody completely discredits the fact that like he's been doing so much better. He hasn't really gotten into trouble. Also, I don't know about you, but like the whole thing about him drag racing, I was really surprised. And like Alex calls it out at one point in the season because remember the whole thing about like Catherine having a conniption about Alex doing rodeo, which is okay, I don't know the spectrum of danger of these two things, but I would almost argue that the rodeo is a little bit less dangerous than drag racing. But I don't know.
I don't know. I think maybe we're thinking about it from the perspective that like we don't live in an area where people regularly do like any kind of rodeo activity. Well, maybe, but the racing
maybe they do. We just don't. We don't get invited.
No, we have no interest.
I want an invitation to the rodeo.
The rodeo seems way more fun. I don't care about the racing. I wouldn't mind an invitation to the rodeo. That seems fun. Right. Apparently, we have to go to the Calgary Stampede at some point.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, Megan, we need to go to the Calgary Stampede.
Maybe we'll get there eventually, Calgary. I don't know. This is what I hear. So I don't know. So I think maybe you're right. Maybe that is part of like the weirdness of it because you're like both of these things, bare minimum, they're both equally dangerous if we're just going to go at base level. And maybe part of it was supposed to be because she's like, oh, fuck it. I've never been able to control him. I'm not going to start now.
I mean, maybe, but she was just so cool about it that I got the feeling that it was because he was being so level-headed this season and like he was doing really well with his grades and like he wasn't getting into trouble and he was, you know, he's clearly got a passion for cars and she probably was looking at it as like, well, he can like tweak the car. He knows what's safe in the car. I'm gonna give him some trust because I don't want him to go off the deep end again. Like I could have done with a little bit more like digging on this kind of angle of things, but I felt like it was almost like they were very laissez-faire with Cole this season, and the whole build up to it was just to be like, oh well, Cole sucks and it's all his fault. And it's like, well, hang on a minute, has anybody actually checked on Cole? Like, is he okay? He seems to be, you know, bearing the weight of a lot of things this season.
Yeah, and he's just, you know, he's working toward, like, he's getting into college, he's working towards finishing his degree, he's achieving something, working at the garage that he's working at, and I'm like, I don't see what the problem is, guys. I'm not seeing it now. And you cannot just let like this character has had a pretty decent turnaround overall.
He's had a pretty good character arc.
Yeah, because he was like miserable in the first season. I hated him in the first season. So it's been nice to kind of at least see this sort of character arc that he's had. But then I'm like, it's weird that no one else has seen it. That I found strange.
Yeah, like I would again, I go back
Well, his
to like
parents have, I guess. Like,
yeah, but like I feel like Catherine didn't really like back him up all that much. Like I think she was just distracted with everything with Lee and
probably.
Isaac, maybe. But
And with George, like, let's be real.
yeah, that's true. Like that took up a lot of her attention as well. That's fair. And like I just feel like Cole really stepped up to the plate. Like I'm always team Cole here, even from season one. I'm just like, I think he's awesome.
I am only more recently, and I will say that I fell off the bandwagon a little bit with how cruel he was during that breakup. I was like, that was unnecessary.
Yeah, he was pulling an Edward in that
I know. Oh God,
in
he
that
was
scene.
leaving
I was
Bella
like, wow,
in
this is giving me Edward Cullen in the forest
yeah, no,
vibe.
he was leaving Bella in the woods to die.
Yeah.
Which, is definitely what Edward does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway.
As I wear my Twilight shirt three
Yep.
times a week.
Yeah, we know. It's the comfort garbage. We're aware. Listen, I have through connections, through people, through the other podcasts that Arthur and I do on Gravetone, you have no idea, at least 2 or 3 times now, all of the girls in the group have been like, I think we just need to do like a combined Twilight episode at some point. Like everyone just needs to we need to
Bitch, you better
record.
not fucking do one without me. I swear to God, I will disown you. That will be it.
End of friendship. So hopefully at some point we can get that organized because a bunch of the girls are like, oh, I'm so fucking down. So yeah.
I am not kidding.
I know
I
you're
will
not. No,
disown
I
you.
know. I know. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe at some point we can do that. Hopefully we can do that with a bunch of the girls and my friend Raph, who's also one of the girls as well. So it's fine. It'll be great.
Into Twilight.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's great. So
okay, we digress. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. We digressed about Twilight as we usually do. So, okay, do you have favorite and least favorite parts of this season? I know you weren't a big fan of it overall, but I'm just thinking favorite and non-favorite plot points, character arcs, whatever.
I would say, let me think about this because I'm trying to think through all the characters. You know who I really, really appreciated in this season is Dylan.
Dylan was a real one. What a good
He
friend.
was a freaking MVP this season.
What a
and
good friend. What a good boyfriend.
What a man. He's kind of a goofy doofus, but he really pulls himself up by the bootstraps to be it for Kylie and for Cole.
Yeah.
And yeah, Alex kind of now realizing that he likes Kylie just because she's, there's no one else on his horizon, and because the quarterback is into her, really pissed me off. I know that wasn't exactly what happened.
I know, but it does almost feel that way to an extent because we already had a whole arc in the first season where Kylie had already been interested in Alex and had been for a period of time, and he was too much of a boy and too stupid to realize and do anything about it, which is always disappointing to see and is very tropey in YA stuff that happens all the time. But it is very frustrating to see this because, to your point, not only is she now in a relationship and he suddenly decided this, she's also in a relationship with a person who's pretty great. Honestly,
he is.
He's really great.
He's getting into all the things that she's interested in. He's really going for it. He's not an idiot jock. He's really trying. He's trying to learn more about her, be there for her, about her grandmother, all these things, man. And even for Cole, he bought him the car, and then he was now you can't use the car because you're putting your life in danger, and I'm kicking you out of the house. Come on.
He's you have to do the right thing and go back to your family because that's where you should be, and this is stupid, and I'm not going to let you endanger yourself because I love you and you're being ridiculous, and I'm like, my God, what a fucking MVP this character is. He's fantastic. And I do feel
talk about character arc here.
And I feel bad, and I really liked, in that vein, I will say, I really liked the last bit of the season finale. One thing that I actually really liked about it was when Dylan had approached Alex and been hey, so I'm starting to notice that things are a little weird, and I'm not going to be an asshole about it, but I am going to kind of be hey, I think she's struggling with this. Not even fuck you, leave my girlfriend alone, but I think she's struggling with this, and it would be better if you would just leave
her alone
for a while. Yep. And then when he shows up at the house, you could just see on his face that he was I thought I was being cool.
Bro?
I thought I was being cool that I asked you to do this nicely.
Yeah. but he didn't go all angry or testosterone filled like rage. He just closed the door.
Yeah,
like
he was just, and he looked disappointed. Like he
He
really
did.
just looked like disappointed and uncomfortable. And I was like, wow.
Yeah. So I really appreciated Dylan this season. I have a lot of like things to talk about least favorites here. So you want to go for your favorite first?
So I do agree. I did like that storyline overall. I thought it was really sweet, like the development of their relationship. I thought that his character was fantastic during this whole season, whether it was in his friendships or his relationship with Kylie. I thought that was wonderful. And I did appreciate the dynamic, even that weirdness with him and Alex now, and that it didn't turn into some weird toxicity game. And I'm hoping they don't ruin that in season 4, but I feel like they will. My other things, I think favorite wise, really did have to do more, per usual. They probably had to do more with like Catherine and George and their own storylines, what they were going through with George's recovery and her struggles, obviously, to run the ranch and everything, which of course is like a huge job in and of itself on her own. And, you know, the way that I think that women in general, but mothers, I'm sure, also often feel like, well, I don't want to put any extra pressure on the kids.
Yeah.
I will take care of it myself, even though like it's almost impossible for her to do that on her own. You know, all of that stuff, the way that they worked through it, the follow-ups that they did and things like that, you know, with them. And that like, it was sweet because it just used that storyline was sort of used to kind of help re-solidify almost their relationship and their marriage as well. And I was like, that's so lovely.
Yeah.
I love them. I think they're really sweet and
They
fun.
are. They're lovely.
And I really like them. And also not as much like some of like the back and forth thing about her parents getting divorced, but I like Grace. I love Grace. I think she's hilarious and she's sweet and she's a really fun best friend character for Jackie.
What's funny about Grace is, and I was thinking about this when I was watching it, is she feels like a true like teenage girl character.
She does. She
like,
plays it very well.
She's like a little quirky, a little airheaded, and like she always kind of finds herself doing the wrong thing when she's trying to do the right thing, like calling Cole or like giving Jackie, whenever she gives Jackie advice, it's like you're like, Grace, no, don't
You're
say
like,
that. You're gonna send her off in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
but
you're
it's
like, oh
it's not
no,
because she's trying to be mean. She's just kind of being like, oh well, like
I guess you could do this, and you're like,
could do this, and you're like, ah.
You're also 17, and it
So
shows.
she's funny. Like Grace is just very funny. She's a good best friend for Jackie, I think.
Agreed. And I loved just because it was fun. It was like completely random. I loved the speakeasy stuff. Cool.
Oh,
yeah.
That was cool. Yeah, that was fun.
I too would like to stumble onto a secret speakeasy once in my fucking life, please.
Is it so much to ask?
Is it too much to ask? That would be really nice. So that was probably, in terms of favorites, those were highlights for me.
I'm actually realizing I also didn't mind the Danny and Aaron dynamic because they were really sweet and like
in the proposal,
which then kind of got resolved on its own. And like, you know, they talked and stuff. What I always appreciate about that couple is the way they're portrayed on screen is like, you're teenagers, you're having this issue. If you just have a conversation, it will get resolved. And like, that's what happens with them all the time. And I'm like, isn't that nice when you just talk to each other?
Even when like I think last season they split up for a bit or something, didn't they? But they still like figured it out.
I can't remember if they split up. I think they
or they like spent some
time.
No,
they were just kind of having what happened was she said she was going to business school and he was like, oh, but like we could go be actors. And she's like, yeah, but that's not really realistic. And he's like, but that's my dream. And she's like, that's your dream. It's not mine. And I live in reality. And he was getting a little titchy with her. And then they like had like a conversation about it and then they were fine.
Yeah. Exactly. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? And yes, it was the same thing when, you know, when she got upset with him after he found out that Cole and Jackie had broken up and he was like, I have to check on him. And she was like, oh my God, like why he broke up with her? Like, why would you care about that? And he was like, he's literally my twin brother. He's been acting weird. I feel like there's something going on. And they resolved that in about 5 minutes. And I was like, huh.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It was just a discussion. So I do appreciate them because I think that, with every kind of toxic relationship trope that they show in these YA shows, it's nice when they balance it out with something a bit healthier. Agreed. So that like the youth of today isn't being guided in the wrong Twilight direction that many of us were.
Yeah, we all did that and we had to do that. It's good that there's like a balance in something like this, you know? You're not concerned too much about your kids watching this because you're like, but there's like a nice healthy balance of what's going on screen between like nice couples.
Yeah,
we love that.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Okay, things I hated. Elliot.
Oh my God. Oh, he's so annoying.
He's got like a punchable face to begin with.
He does.
And
I
then
don't mean anything. The actor did a good job of the character.
Yeah, well, that exactly. Like he did it on purpose. Like the way he was acting and stuff, was just like, Jackie, and I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up, go away.
And all of his stuff, all of his like try hardiness of like, maybe we can get back together. Basically, I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up. No one cares. Go away, Elliot. Go back to the city. Well, like, especially with this thing of just being like, oh, country, oh, rodeo stuff, and she's just like. She's like, you're being real snobby. Maybe don't do that.
Yeah. And he's like, don't even worry about it. Like, this town is just going to be in your distant future and you're not even going to have to worry about it soon. And she's like, what are you talking about? Like, I've literally like created a life here, you big ding dong.
She's like, my legal guardians are here. Hello?
Like, I mean, what was it? George called him like mini, what's her uncle's name?
Richard.
Yeah, mini Richard or something, or he called him like Richard. Anyway, he gave him a nickname, which was like really accurate. But yeah, I was just like, I'm not for this guy at all. And I'm surprised that Cole didn't punch him in the face. I was actually expecting that to happen in the season.
Character growth.
Character growth,
We love that.
We do.
Agreed. Probably my least favorite. I was like, oh God, he's such a fucking tryhard. And he's like embarrassingly obsessed with Jackie. I was like, ew, stop it. That's not cute. Like she's not gonna think that's cute.
No. And she didn't. Although she, I mean, yeah.
But she was, I feel like part of that was, I'm trying to get over a breakup and, somebody's paying attention to me. And when you're like 17.
Well, he also like rammed his face into hers, which probably didn't help,
No.
In that last scene there, I'm like,
I know.
Captain Aggressive there. Calm down.
That's a lot. Definitely not a fan of that aspect of things. The stuff with Richard being angry felt way too forced, and I don't blame the actor for that. I just feel like it was very weird because Richard's been pretty chill the last few seasons, and I've been like, what the hell happened to Richard this season?
I was hoping that they were going to show a little bit more of his relationship with Miss.
The teacher.
Yeah, the guidance counselor there, because like they just kind of hopped right into it, and I was like, oh, that's too bad because we saw so much of her relationship with the other guy.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, we did, didn't we? Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, so I thought that there was going to be a little bit more of a build up on that one, and I felt like they kind of skipped over it. I didn't love Alex pursuing Kylie, which I told you about, and his gang of shitheads, basically. I did feel sad for him that he had to give up the rodeo.
Me too. Yeah, that was unfortunate. I'm glad that Catherine kind of like spotted it and hopefully found a little something, a niche for him to at least, not lose it completely, which is good. But that was disappointing. What a bunch of like.
Yeah, that sucked.
What a bunch of fucking idiots. Oh, seriously, the episode where they showed up at the party, I was like, what are you all, 35? They're all in high school. That's so embarrassing and predatory and gross.
Yes. And then they were like, oh, it's a high school party. Oh, well, we're here now. We'll have a beer. I'm like, no, you should not have a beer. The answer is get out of the house.
See? And again, Cole is the person who's like, hey, she's 16, that girl that you're looking at right now.
Yeah, get out.
Ew.
Like, they're just gross. And like the fact that what's her face?
Oh, yes.
The rodeo chick.
Oh, I can't remember what her name is. Anyway,
I feel like her name is like Blake or something.
Oh, I think you're right. Yes, Blake. Yeah.
Blake. When Blake was like, oh, well, I don't know what you want me to say, Alex. Like, this is the deal and you have to like get along with these guys. I'm like,
no, he doesn't.
That? Like, she used to be all like
do everything by the
my
rules.
own thing and I do the right things and stuff. Like, what is this character like turn around? Like, I don't know. I didn't love that whole thing.
Again, shoddy writing for plot purposes to just have to have Alex quit.
Yeah, it kind of felt like it wasn't like based on anything. Like there was no build up to it. So that I didn't love. And then there was I I felt like we didn't really get very much like Nathan and Skylar this season. Like Skylar
No.
was so sweet with him.
I know. They were working back towards something, and hopefully, like, once Nathan comes back from the whole music thing that he's leaving for,
Yeah.
we can get a little bit more of that. Because I was like, "Aw, man, I thought you guys were gonna get back together." And I like
Yeah,
them. They're a good couple.
they are. They're sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of these things are sort of it was a weird season because it felt like a lot of the writing and the character changes felt forced simply
Yeah.
to drive forward more drama and more twists within the plot.
And I think that's what irritated me because the first 2 seasons, it just felt like it kind of flowed by itself. And
Yeah.
like the drama was like, it was like a buildup, and you were like, oh, that's what happened here. Like it was like really interesting the way it was written.
Mm,
And this one, it just felt a little clunky. And like to your point, it was like they were shoehorning in problems just to create drama. And I'm like, I don't love that.
no, I agree. I'm like, I don't need that. It's unnecessary.
No.
I can just have them not do that. Like you could have had them break up for a different reason, you know?
Yeah, like an actual valid reason and not like I'm not good enough for her. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, come on,
I'm not good
Cole,
enough.
really?
And everyone's convinced me of that when I'm like, you just tried so hard this entire time to be that way. And now
You
you're
got
suddenly going to be
accepted
like,
to
oh no.
university. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was like, nobody's celebrating.
I know.
I
Not
don't like it.
one. Not one person celebrated it. And I just thought it was like anyway. And then the finale when he like we'll see what happens. Like obviously he's not gonna be dead. Like
No,
let's be honest
no.
here. Like that's never gonna happen.
Also, oh my God, the guy who he was competing
Oh my
against,
god.
we were sitting and we're watching the first episode. I think it was the second episode. It must have been the last episode when they were actually like they had him on screen for a little bit longer. Arthur just goes, "Why does this guy look 40?"
He does. I was like,
he goes, "What the hell?" He's like, "What's happening right now?" He's like, "Why does this person look like 40 years
what?
old, but he's supposed to be really young?"
Well,
And
I was kind of like going with it because I was like, well, like maybe he is 40 because like you don't really need to be a certain age for drag racing, I guess, you know. So I was like, maybe he is 40. But then they were like, and now in the under 25s category, I'm like, there's no way this man is under 25. No way.
No, and so excuse you very much. I went and checked because I was like, no, you're right. This is weird to me. And I Googled it and he's 37 years old.
Yeah, he's 40.
Yeah. So he's literally my age. So I was
You
like,
look
yes,
better than him.
well, thank you very much. But I too cannot pass for under 25 at this point. So, you know.
I'm very depressed in the knowledge that I don't really get carded anywhere I go anymore. It's really making me sad. It's really been over the last year that I've stopped getting carded.
Oh, you know what? When it comes to like at home, because legal drinking age here for people who are not in the know is 18, for folks who are listening elsewhere. But the only times really in life post being, I don't know, 21, even nobody cares here. Post being like about 21 is in the States. Usually if I'm traveling in the States, I will very much more often get carded. I think I was carded in the States 3 or 4 years ago.
I'm telling you, I used to get
It was
carded
wild.
everywhere.
But I don't. So I don't. And I was shocked when I was sitting in an Olive Garden of all places.
That is true. I remember that. That was hilarious.
It was so funny. I was sitting in an Olive Garden with my mom and we ordered a cocktail and the waitress, who was like quite a bit older, so I guess sometimes they just have to make sure, was like, "Can I see a piece of ID?" And I went, "Oh, thank you so much." And I asked her my ID.
The amount of time, like I'm telling you, it's literally the last year that I've stopped getting carded because I used to get carded everywhere. Like I would just pull out my ID, like, you know, because I was used to it. And every single time I would pull out my ID, give it to them, and they'd be like, "Oh, sorry, here you go." Or they'd be like, "Well, you look really good." And I'm like, thanks. I'm only 34. Fuck you.
Yeah, you're like, okay, okay. If I were 44, I'd really take
Yeah.
that compliment. But otherwise, you're like, wow, okay, shut up.
Mhm.
How old do you think a 34-year-old looks, guys? This is the problem now. We can't tell anymore. Somebody
No,
could
well,
be 22 or they could be 40, and I'd be like, I don't know.
Well, because they keep casting 40-year-olds to play under 25, so I just get carded forever.
Yeah, that's what it is. Everybody sees like a movie or a TV show and is like, but that person's 18 and they look our age in their mid 30s. And then that's not the case. And that person is in their mid 30s. And this is how the confusion starts.
Yeah,
It's so weird.
it is.
Oh, God. Anyway,
We digress.
we're digressing so much, but it's also because I just don't think we enjoyed this season very much. And I also just found for the amount of how they dragged on certain things, I think 10 episodes is too much. I think an 8-episode season would have been fine.
I was just like normally I just really enjoyed this show before. Like I used to like devour it and look forward to watching the next episode. And this season I was just like, I don't really care. Like I don't find they did a good job even with Cole and Jackie when they did get together. It just felt really odd, their whole relationship. How she kept being like, oh, but before I would have been so high strung, but now I'm not because of you. And I'm just like,
And he's
what
like,
are
well, that
you
makes me feel like an
doing?
asshole. So
Well, yeah. And she's like, normally I would have cared if my grades dropped, but I don't because of you. And he's just like looking at her like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, go study.
yeah, literally. I'm like, he's like the last person who's going to try to ruin any of that for you. He's like the
Right.
only encouraging one with that. Anyway, I don't look, they're doing what they can. I find overall, was it Noah Lalonde who plays Cole, I think was probably carrying a lot this season. And Nikki Rodriguez, who plays Jackie, I always like because she does a very good job of towing that line between the little like cutesy type A personality, but also having a little more to her
Yeah.
than that. I think she does a great job with it. And she's also stunning. So
She is. She is absolutely beautiful. So I appreciate that too.
yeah. So, you know what? It's not really, I think this season more than anything, it's not the cast because they've been quite well established. And so it's not them. It is the writing for this season. I'm sorry. I don't think that it was very good. And I think it was very choppy and it felt very forced a lot of the time.
Sorry, I need to rewind and clarify. I don't mean that I appreciate that she's beautiful. I just mean that she's fiery and like she's like goody two shoesy and all that. Sorry,
Yeah.
I need to rewind on my comment there, like before
you
the weirdos come for me.
Do you know what it is? I think that she's a character that's written in a fictional way. So obviously she's maybe a little bit more exaggerated than she would be, but you're a little bit like Jackie. Like you're a very ambitious person who also on the flip side does like to have fun and be normal and do things like that. But you're also, that's it. You're also very type A when it comes to your work and a lot of other things in your life to like keep things organized and stuff. So, you know, I think that makes sense.
Oh, I appreciate her very much, which is why it really pissed me off when he turned into Edward. I'm like, what is this, 2009? Like, can we move on, please, from this? Anywho.
I didn't love that. That was somebody who watched Twilight and was like, I guess we can make the breakup like that. And we were like, no, that was bad.
That was bad. You have all moved on and grown up and collectively agreed that that was bad.
Correct. Oh, well, hopefully, because season 4 was already renewed before season 3 even premiered. So with that in mind, I guess we'll have to wait and see what it is that they wind up doing with season 4. I do not know if they're going to shoehorn in a reunion between the two of them because of Cole's accident. That seems a little bit weird. I'm sure that they'll wait till later in the season, if anything, and we will kind of go from there. The only thing that I will say is that I do not, in any future season, now that it's done, I do not want to see any Alex and Jackie. Don't fucking do it, guys.
Oh, God. If they go back on that, I'm done.
Yeah. I'm going to stop watching it.
Totally done.
Yeah. So just everybody keep that in mind. Writer's room, because you sure care what I have to say, but I'm just saying that would be crazy and very dumb.
Totally.
So, yeah. Alrighty. Well, this was fun. There is an adaptation coming out next week of a book called The Dog Stars, which I feel like I've only started hearing about recently, but it stars like Jacob Elordi and Josh Brolin.
Okay, so we're going to be watching that.
And I was like, oh, well, maybe we have to make a trip to the theater so that we can check that out. Because, post-apocalyptic dystopian.
I was going to say, isn't this a sci-fi?
It is. Yeah, very much up that alley. So maybe we'll check that out. I feel like it's gotten almost no buzz, which is odd because the cast seems pretty stacked.
I love Jacob Elordi.
I know you do. So yeah, so maybe we'll be checking that out soon. I don't know, man. And then that's it. And then before you know it, it's almost fall, which is crazy. And there will be all kinds of other stuff on the way, which will be really fun to cover. And then we can probably
wait for Verity.
Yeah. Oh my God. Have you seen the trailer for it?
The trailer dropped this week, I think it was.
They are trying so hard to make it look like a horror.
They're trying to make it look like Misery or something.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Like really, really scary. I forget which horror film because I see so many, but I forget which one I went to see maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago in theaters. And they played the trailer before the film, and I was like, oh guys, come on now.
Who are you kidding here? Who are you kidding?
And it started, and we're sitting there, and Arthur's like, what is this? And I was like, oh, it's Verity. He was like, what?
Yeah. No, I can't wait. It's going to be great. And I've read the book, so I'm so excited.
I think that'll be a fun and very ridiculous romp. And man, Anne Hathaway is having quite the year. So
I feel like every movie has Anne Hathaway or Zendaya
in it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not mad
or
about
Robert
it.
Pattinson.
Or Robert Pattinson, which I'm also not mad about because I can't wait for that
prime time.
Not Dateline.
Yeah,
prime time.
To Catch a Predator there. Yeah. Oh, that looks great. That's going to be really good. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I came across a TikTok of somebody being like, this little freak is going for an Oscar this year, and if he doesn't get nominated, I will lose faith in the Academy.
Yeah, true. We need an Oscar for our Pats this year.
He deserves it. He at least deserves a nomination. So hopefully Primetime, I feel, will be the thing to get him one. Maybe The Odyssey, but probably Primetime.
Maybe Dune. We haven't seen him in Dune yet.
True. We don't know. We won't know until that comes out. So we will see. All right. Well, all the usual things. Follow us on all of our socials. We're at Fully Booked CA everywhere. Check out the website at fullybooked.ca. We have reviews. We have a bazillion different recommendations. I don't even know how many articles we have up at this point, but it's a lot. And I have to catch up on a couple of things so that I can give you guys some more recommendations for stuff.
Me too, actually. Yeah.
Alrighty. Yep. So in the meantime, guys, keep on reading.
Thanks, everyone.
Brought to you by the Capital One Savor Card. With Savor, you earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining, entertainment, and at grocery stores. That's unlimited cash back on ordering takeout from home, or unlimited cash back on tickets to concerts and games. So grab a bite, grab a seat, and earn unlimited 3% cash back with the Savor Card. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.